Aave is leading the DeFi revolution with modular design and tokenized assets. Buckle up for today's ride on Trust Me, Bro. But before we start, did you know 65% of our listeners aren't following us? If you enjoy the show, please hit that subscribe or follow button and collect our episodes on pods.media. Your support means a lot. Thanks, guys. Okay, so let's dive into the world of Aave in 2025. We've got a stack of articles and reports here, and it looks like they've been busy. Aave, for their stablecoin GHO new governance features, they're really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in DeFi.
It's quite remarkable how Aave is tackling some of the biggest challenges in DeFi head-on, especially when it comes to scalability and user experience.
Right. I mean, one of the things that really jumps out is this whole modular design concept with Aave. They're calling it a Lego revolution, which I kind of love. But what does that actually mean for users like you and me?
Well, imagine Aave as a set of Lego blocks. Each block represents a specific function like lending, borrowing, or even more complex things like flash loans. With V4, developers can easily add or remove these blocks without affecting the entire system.
So it's like they're creating a plug-and-play system for DeFi. That's pretty slick.
It is. This modularity not only allows for faster innovation, but also makes the platform much more adaptable. The DeFi landscape is constantly evolving. Aave needed a system that could keep pace.
And from what I'm reading, this modularity also paves the way for some really interesting features like dynamic interest rates. I've always found the whole fixed interest rate thing a bit, well, static, especially in a market as volatile as crypto.
Dynamic interest rates are a game changer. Instead of being set in stone, they fluctuate in real time based on supply and demand. So when demand for borrowing is, high interest rates go up, which incentivizes more people to lend their assets, and vice versa.
So it's all about finding that sweet spot where borrowers and lenders both feel like they're getting a fair deal.
Exactly. It creates a more efficient and responsive market. Now, another key development with V4 is Aave's move beyond the Ethereum blockchain. They're branching out to other blockchains and these things called Layer 2 solutions.
I've heard of Layer 2, but to be honest, I'm a little fuzzy on the details. Can you break it down for me, and why is this expansion important for Aave?
Think of Layer 2 as an express lane built on top of the main Ethereum highway. They help to alleviate congestion and reduce transaction fees, which have been a major pain point for Ethereum users.
Ah, okay. So by expanding to other blockchains and Layer 2s, Aave is essentially making the platform more accessible and affordable for a wider range of users.
Precisely. It's all about breaking down barriers and making DeFi more inclusive.
Makes sense. Now let's shift gears and talk about Aave's native stablecoin GHO. It seems to be gaining a lot of traction in the DeFi space. It's more than just a stablecoin, right?
You're right. GHO is becoming a real utility player in the Aave ecosystem. It's being integrated into various DeFi protocols, facilitating a whole range of activities beyond just maintaining a stable value.
Could you give us an example of how GHO is being used as this utility player?
Sure. Let's say you want to borrow against your crypto holdings. You could use GHO as collateral, which can often lead to better lending rates and terms. Or imagine a decentralized exchange where you can trade various crypto assets using GHO as the intermediary currency.
Interesting. So it's like GHO is becoming the oil that keeps the Aave engine running smoothly.
That's a great analogy. And as the Aave's ecosystem expands, the utility and demand for GHO are likely to grow as well.
Okay, before we move on, I want to touch on something that's always been a bit of a sticking point in DeFi governance. I mean, it's great to have a decentralized system, but how do you actually make sure everyone has a say? Aave seems to be making some strides in this area, right?
They are. Aave understands that for DeFi to truly thrive, it needs active and engaged users. So they're working to simplify their governance processes and make them more accessible, even for those who aren't blockchain wizards.
Can you give us some concrete examples of how they're making governance more user-friendly?
Absolutely. They're streamlining their governance portals, making them more intuitive and easier to navigate. They're also implementing things like delegated governance, where you can essentially entrust someone else to vote on your behalf if you don't have the time or expertise to participate directly in every decision.
So it's kind of like a proxy vote. That makes a lot of sense, especially for someone like me who's still learning the ropes of DeFi.
Exactly. Aave is trying to remove those barriers to entry and empower users to have a real voice in shaping the platform's future.
Well, I can't talk about Aave without mentioning the elephant in the room, institutional adoption. I mean, DeFi has always been seen as this sort of wild west of finance, but it seems like the big players are starting to take notice. How is Aave attracting these institutional investors?
Ovark is their dedicated platform for institutional investors, built with compliance and security in mind. It provides the regulatory safeguards and features that institutions need to feel comfortable dipping their toes into the DeFi waters.
So they're essentially building a bridge between the traditional financial world and the world of DeFi.
They are. And it's not just talk. We're seeing real interest from major financial institutions, which is a huge validation for Aave and for DeFi as a whole.
That's really exciting. It feels like DeFi is finally coming of age.
It does, and Aave is certainly leading the charge.
Okay, I'm curious about the Aave ecosystem itself. Is it just about lending and borrowing, or is there more to it?
There's a whole universe of activity happening within the Aave ecosystem. Think of it as a galaxy with Aave at its center. They have a grants DAO that's funding all sorts of innovative projects from decentralized insurance to prediction markets.
So it's like they're cultivating a whole garden of DeFi projects. That's pretty cool. Any specific projects that have caught your eye?
Their integration with the Lens protocol is fascinating. It's basically a decentralized social media platform, and they're exploring ways to blend DeFi with social interactions.
Social, right? That's the buzzword I've been hearing. Can you explain what that is and how it ties into Aave?
Imagine a social media platform where you can earn rewards for creating content, engaging with others, or even lending and borrowing directly with your followers. That's the basic idea behind SocialFi. Aave is exploring how they can leverage their lending and borrowing infrastructure within this social context.
So it's like bringing the power of finance into the social realm.
Exactly. It's still early days, but the possibilities are really exciting. And it speaks to Aave's commitment to pushing the boundaries of what's possible in DeFi.
Before we wrap up this part of our Aave deep dive, I have to ask about something that really piqued my interest: tokenized real-world assets. I mean, this is some next-level stuff. What exactly are they? And what is Aave doing in this space?
Tokenized real-world assets are essentially digital representations of real-world assets like real estate, fine art, or even intellectual property. They're brought onto the blockchain, making them easier to trade and potentially opening up new investment opportunities.
So imagine being able to buy a fraction of a Picasso or a vineyard through Aave.
Precisely. Aave is exploring how they can integrate these tokenized assets into their platform, allowing users to borrow against them or use them as collateral. It's about bridging the gap between the physical and digital worlds of finance.
Wow, that's incredible. We've covered a lot of ground so far. Let's take a quick break here.
Okay.
We're open for partnerships. Got a cool project? We've got the spotlight you need. We're opening our doors to a limited number of newsletters and podcast sponsorships, offering an exclusive opportunity to promote your brand and connect with our passionate audience. Check out the link in our newsletter or hit us up across all socials. We got this.
All right.
From V4's modularity to tokenized real-world assets, Aave seems to be firing on all cylinders.
They are, and it's important to remember that their focus on security and user-friendliness underpins all of these advancements.
Right. What good is all this innovation if the platform isn't safe and easy to use? We'll dive into those aspects and explore what the future holds for Aave in part 2 of our deep dive. Don't go anywhere.
You know, we've talked about all the exciting new features and expansions, but what truly sets Aave apart is their unwavering commitment to security and user-friendliness.
Right, because what's the point of all this innovation if you're constantly worried about your funds, or the platform is too complex to use?
Exactly. Aave understands that trust is the foundation of DeFi. That's why they invest heavily in security audits and bug bounty programs to ensure the platform is as robust as possible.
So it's like they're building a fortress to protect our crypto.
In a way, yes. They're constantly working to stay ahead of potential threats and vulnerabilities. And on the user experience side, they're making DeFi more approachable for everyday people. They're simplifying the onboarding process and making the interface more intuitive.
That's so important because not everyone is a crypto expert or has the time to decipher complex interfaces. If DeFi is going to go mainstream, it needs to be easy for anyone to use.
I completely agree. Aave is working hard to break down those barriers to entry and make DeFi accessible to the masses.
So it sounds like Aave is hitting all the right notes: innovation, security, user-friendliness. But what does this all mean for the bigger picture? Where do you see Aave fitting into the future of finance?
Aave is at the forefront of a financial revolution. They're not just building a platform, they're building an ecosystem, a parallel financial system that's more transparent, efficient, and accessible.
It's like they're creating a whole new financial universe with its own set of rules and possibilities.
That's a great way to put it. And with their commitment to security and user-friendliness, they're making this new universe welcoming and trustworthy.
This is all incredibly exciting, but DeFi is a crowded space with new platforms popping up all the time. How is Aave staying ahead of the curve?
Aave's success comes down to a few key factors. They're constantly innovating, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in DeFi. They have a strong and active community that contributes to the platform's development, and they prioritize security and transparency, which builds trust with users.
So the combination of cutting-edge technology,
Yeah.
a passionate community, and a solid foundation of trust.
Exactly. These factors have allowed Aave to attract a diverse range of users from individual investors to large institutions.
It sounds like they've cracked the code for success in the decentralized world. But what about the challenges? What potential roadblocks do you see on Aave's path to mainstream adoption?
That's a great question. While Aave's made remarkable progress, the DeFi space still faces some hurdles. One major challenge is regulatory uncertainty. Governments around the world are still figuring out how to regulate DeFi, and this lack of clarity can create obstacles for platforms like Aave.
Right, like trying to build a house without knowing the building codes.
Exactly. Another challenge is scalability. As DeFi adoption grows, platforms need to be able to handle a massive influx of users and transactions without slowing down and becoming too expensive.
It's like making sure the party doesn't crash when everyone shows up.
And then there's the challenge of user education. DeFi can still be intimidating for newcomers. Bridging this knowledge gap and educating users about the benefits and risks of DeFi is crucial for wider adoption.
It's like teaching everyone the steps to this new financial dance.
Precisely. Addressing these challenges will be crucial for Aave and the broader DeFi ecosystem to reach its full potential.
So regulation, scalability, and user education are the big hurdles to overcome. What are some potential solutions? What can Aave and other DeFi platforms do to address these challenges?
When it comes to regulation, Aave can proactively engage with policymakers and help shape a regulatory framework that fosters innovation while protecting users.
So working together to create clear guidelines and a level playing field.
Right. On the scalability front, Aave can explore and implement innovative scaling solutions like Layer 2 technologies we discussed earlier. These solutions can help handle increased transaction volume without sacrificing speed or affordability.
It's like building a bigger dance floor so everyone can join the party.
And for user education, Aave can invest in creating user-friendly educational resources, tutorials, and community initiatives to make DeFi more approachable and understandable for everyone.
It's like offering free dance lessons to anyone who wants to learn.
Exactly. By tackling these challenges head-on, Aave can continue to pave the way for a more decentralized, inclusive, and efficient financial future.
Aave's journey in 2025 is a fascinating case study in innovation growth and the challenges of building a new financial system.
It truly is. Aave's story reflects the broader DeFi movement, highlighting both the incredible potential and the obstacles that lie ahead.
We've examined Aave's advancements, their dedication to security and user experience, and how they're navigating the competitive landscape of DeFi. Now, I'm curious, what are some of the broader implications of Aave's success? What does it tell us about the future of finance as a whole?
Aave's success is a powerful signal that the traditional financial system is ripe for disruption. People are looking for alternatives that offer more control, transparency, and accessibility, and Aave is providing just that.
It's like they're giving people the keys to their own financial destiny.
Exactly. Aave is empowering individuals to participate in a global financial ecosystem on their own terms. And as DeFi continues to evolve, we can expect to see even more innovative solutions that challenge the status quo.
It's an exciting time to be witnessing this financial revolution unfold.
Yeah.
But with all this rapid innovation come inherent risks. How can users stay informed and make responsible decisions in this new landscape?
That's a crucial point. You're absolutely right. Due diligence and ongoing education are paramount. Users need to thoroughly research platforms like Aave, understand the risks involved, and never invest more than they can afford to lose.
It's like exploring any new frontier. There's a sense of adventure, but also a need for caution and awareness.
Exactly. And as the DeFi space matures, we can expect to see more robust security measures, educational resources, and regulatory frameworks to help mitigate risks and protect users.
So it's a balancing act between fostering innovation and ensuring safety.
Precisely. And platforms like Aave are playing a crucial role in striking that balance. That's a question worth pondering. It's like looking at a map of uncharted territory and trying to predict where the most exciting discoveries will be made.
Right. It is. We've seen how Aave is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in DeFi, but what are some of the potential paths they could take in the future?
Well, one area that holds immense potential is the further integration of real-world assets. Imagine a world where you can seamlessly borrow against your house or invest in a fractional share of a solar farm all through the Aave platform.
That would be incredible. It would truly democratize access to investments that were previously out of reach for many people.
Exactly. And it could also lead to more efficient and transparent markets for these assets. Another exciting possibility is the continued growth of the F5 ecosystem. We've already seen the emergence of innovative projects like the Lens protocol, but I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible.
Yeah, it's like watching a seed sprout and grow into a vast and interconnected network.
That's a perfect analogy. Aave is creating a fertile ground for DeFi innovation, and I'm eager to see what new and unexpected projects blossom in the years to come.
Speaking of unexpected projects,
Sure.
what are some of the wildcard factors that could influence Avive's trajectory?
While regulatory developments will certainly play a major role, the DeFi landscape is constantly evolving, and governments around the world are still grappling with how to regulate this space. A DEV's ability to adapt to these changing regulations will be crucial for their long-term success.
Right. It's like navigating a ship through uncharted waters. You need to be constantly adjusting your course based on the winds and currents.
Exactly. And then there's the always-present factor of competition. The DeFi space is incredibly dynamic with new platforms and protocols emerging all the time. A DEV will need to continue to innovate and differentiate themselves to stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it's like a race where the finish line keeps moving further away.
But a DEV has proven time and again that they're up for the challenge. They have a talented team, a dedicated community, and a track record of pushing the boundaries of what's possible in DeFi.
Well, it's been an incredible journey exploring Aave in 2025. From their groundbreaking V4 upgrade to their exploration of real-world assets and their unwavering commitment to security and user-friendliness, they're truly shaping the future of finance.
They are, and it's a future that holds immense promise for greater financial inclusion, efficiency, and innovation.
And that's a wrap on our Aave Deep Dive. We've covered a lot of ground, but we've only just begun to scratch the surface of this exciting and rapidly evolving space.
If you're intrigued by what you've heard today, I encourage you to dive deeper. Do your own research and explore the vast and ever-expanding universe of DeFi.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next groundbreaking DeFi project or investing in the next Aave. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible in the world of finance.